New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome to Ministers Talking a weekly program where Rev Briz and Rev Z and their guests chat about current affairs, world events, spiritual principles, and any old they want to talk about. Based on the New Thought philosophy and ancient wisdoms, Ministers Talking shares a visionary perspective of the evolving spiral called spiritual living. Join us each week as we explore the emerging paradigm of life on planet Earth and beyond.
And hello again, dear ones. Rev Briz with you over here.
And Reverend Michael over here.
And this is Ministers Talking Shit for Friday morning. It must be 7 o'clock on the Mountain Time Zone, which means it's not quite so early on the Eastern Time Zone, which is where our dear friend and colleague Reverend Michael is coming from today. You know, he has a secret bunker that I don't know about.
Well, it's the secret bunker, concrete bunker, surrounded by thousands of watts.
Yes.
In an extremely secure location.
What he's surrounded by.
Top secret. That's so top secret. See, now, we were talking before in the green room that Reverend Dr. Brzezinski thinks that it's located in my basement, and that is not true. The top secret concrete bunker. Now, we have seen go up and down our street. We have seen the New Thought Media Network radio detection locator trying to find out where the top secret bunker is located. But
yes,
he has no clue where it's at. But he thinks he does.
You want to know how I know, folks?
Okay.
The checks get cashed and they don't get returned. And it's not a P.O. box.
What?
Don't worry, Michael. I'm not going to dox you and give everybody your address.
What checks?
Oh, you get checks. I make them out.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, okay. I just make them out to your wife.
You make them out to Diana.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Diana Mangus, practitioner extraordinaire, the leader of the Summit Center for Spiritual Living here in Akron, Ohio.
Exactly. Folks, if you're wondering what's going on here this morning, yep, this is not your normal programming on Ministers Talking Shit. Rev Z is off on some family vacation. His daughter graduated with her master's degree earlier this week. Congratulations to the Sekou family.
Yes.
Z, I know you're never going to watch this, but we said it anyway, so it's in the universe, and congratulations. So we bring in Reverend Michael Mangus, as who's been a guest. You've been with us a few times now, Michael. So,
yes, on Ministers Talking Shit. Yes,
exactly. And I know that you love being here because it's the only time in your life you get to swear.
Well, now hold it. You have to understand that when I was a small child broadcaster a long, long time ago, that we were taught not to say the 7 dirty words, even though that we played George Carlin's routine in the production studios. No, but anyhow, it's nice to be able to swear.
Yes.
I say the word hell a lot though.
Okay. Hell a lot. Hell a
lot. Yeah.
Hell a lot. That's not quite a ton, folks. It's just a hell of a lot.
Hell of a lot.
All right.
Hey, I want to say good morning to Linda. Hi, Linda. Good Friday morning.
Good morning, Linda.
She's a regular here on the Ministers Talking Shit. Good to see you.
Good to see you, dear one. Thank you for being with us. Okay, so today, trivia question.
Okay.
First off, now you're going to get this one right, Michael, because we've talked about it, but I have 2 trivia questions for you. Number 1, what day is today? And if you say Friday, I'm going to reach out and slap you.
Okay, hold on here. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, it's National Donut Day.
That is right.
Is that my donut?
There's your donut.
Oh, man.
Michael gave me grief for not bringing donuts to work this morning. I told him I tried to get one into those UPS box or those postal boxes, the little $10 postal boxes, but send him in a $2 donut in a $10 box.
Don't do that. Nah,
so,
that's okay.
So Dunkin' Donuts is scheduled to deliver to the bunker, wherever that might be,
right,
in about 25 minutes or so.
Okay, wherever that may be.
Exactly, wherever that may be. So it is National Donut Day, but here's the question. I think I want to. Here's the real trivia question: do you know the origins of National Donut Day?
Oh, I have no clue.
You have no clue. You
None
eat
at all.
things all the time, and you have no clue why we celebrate them on the first Friday in June. Don't worry, I didn't either until I looked it up. It all started with the Salvation Army. In 1938, the Salvation Army established the first Friday in June as National Donut Day to honor the organization's donut lassies. My God, we were sexist.
What?
We were way sexist back in the early. Donut lassies were women who traveled to France to serve donuts and other snacks to soldiers during World War I. I didn't know you could take that many chemicals back to World War One. Isn't that wouldn't that be considered chemical warfare?
What, donuts?
Yes.
Maybe.
They make your enemy fat, lazy, and die of chemical
Well,
poison.
no, now hold it. Those were for the soldiers, though.
It's a slow death, though.
Okay.
Yeah. Donut lassies. Could you imagine being called a donut lassie? Here, girl. Bring me a donut.
Hold it. Linda has she has a comment here. She says, "How many pedaled miles does it take to work off a donut?" Yes, Reverend Dr. Brzezinski, how many pedaled miles does it take to work off a donut, since you are pedaling a million miles a week?
I think a better question is, can I even remember the last time I had a donut? And the answer is no.
I can't either. I don't eat that stuff.
Hey, folks, if you're new to the show and you're wondering what you've stumbled into, this is Ministers Talking Shit. It happens every Friday. And today, for some reason, we've gotten stuck on donuts. I do want to... There, we'll change things up a little. I do want to reference what Linda's talking to. Thank you, Linda. I have set out on a personal quest, if you will, as part of a renewing a healthy lifestyle. I have become, well, my wife will tell you I'm obsessed with my mountain bike. And my mountain bike actually is an electric bike. It looks like a mountain bike, but it's really electric. And I think it takes at least 50 miles to work off the donut.
At least?
That's my story. I'm going to stick with it.
Well, also, Linda, we're raising funds for Reverend Dr. Briz on his to make sure that he has enough tires.
Got a new set showing up in the mail tomorrow.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I go through tires rather quickly.
Yes.
I'm going to buy a dozen before I go on. So the whole idea, folks, if you haven't heard this one, Michael's just pressured me into making this public, that I'm working towards the goal of riding across the country of the United States, on pedal power and electric power and solar power all at the same time. Somebody asked me recently if I determined a route, and I was like, I haven't. And then it was like, well, I could go from San Diego to Maine. That'd be the longest route I could think of. Or you go from Seattle to Florida. And, too many people just go straight across. That's like, only 3,500 miles. Let's go for 5.
Okay.
So let's see.
Just as long as I can get a hold of you.
I will
for technical questions that I don't know how to fix.
Well, I'm going to be wearing a Faraday cage over the bicycle and the electric trailer, the solar trailer.
Okay.
So it might be tough to find me.
Okay, really good.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so anything happening in the news this week, Michael? Oh my God. 10 minutes after the hour and we're still cracking jokes, and not even good ones.
What's this I hear about this? The world's most famous felon.
Felon, yes.
Yes, and who would that be? 34 counts.
It's the FFOTUS, the first felon of the United States. FOTUS.
Well, luckily we're on Ministers Talking Shit, so you can say that.
Yes. I'll tell you, Z and I talk about this all the time. The media, man, they usually hold stories back until like Friday at noon. The big stories always seem to crack. Like there's so many places where we can say, "Oh, what a great show," and then later that day, big news cracks and big news is released on certain things. On this one, they released the news on Thursday, so we got to talk about it on Fridays on last week's show. You can check that out in the archives over on YouTube if you want to hear a little more what Z and I had to say. But it's, Michael, it seems like we've had a full week now of the speculation. We've had a full week of the what ifs. The truth is, nobody knows what the heck is going to happen. What we do know is it would appear that, if anything, one of the fears has come true, in that this seems to have emboldened and bolstered, empowered, and his base.
Didn't I read that he made or something like he fundraised over $100 million or something like that?
I try not to look at those things. They depress me. It depresses me that people are willingly giving a convicted felon, con artist, and all around punk, if you ask me. I mean, the guy just opens his mouth. He says anything he wants to say about anything he wants to say, and none of it is based in truth. And to me, that's punkish.
Well, hold it here. Again, Linda was saying maybe the Supreme Court today will decide if the famous felon is immune.
And they'll do that at noon, right after we're done with this show. Maybe we need a late afternoon Ministers Talking check-in. Friday afternoons.
Yeah, Friday afternoons at 3, our new show here on the New Thought Media Network.
What we missed. Give you folks all morning to tell us what we missed.
Yes, I think that it's just for me, it's just unbelievable the amount of spin the amount of stuff that comes again from faux news, otherwise known as Fox News and other outlets.
Yep.
When the verdicts were announced again, that folks from Fox News were on there again spinning it. It's a Democratic. It's all Joe Biden's fault.
Well,
This whole thing's all Joe Biden's fault. No, it's not Joe Biden's fault. All of our mega individuals who are watching, it's not. It's Donald Trump's fault. And no, he did not. The reason being that he got into trouble was because they covered up the payment to Stormy Daniels.
And it doesn't matter what the payment was for or who the payment was to. They committed fraud.
Yes.
In their book, in their public books, and that's one of the things that I find so confounding and confusing is his argument now, and the reason people are giving him money is because he's saying, see, if they can do this to me, they can do this to you. And the truth is, they can't do it to you because you didn't pay hush money and then try to cover it up, because the average person doesn't look at the world in that way. And I look at it from the perspective that, these folks, they're using the law, they're using the universal creative law. There's no secret of that. They're just telling a story that is a misuse of that law.
Yes.
Rather than creating a story that says this is the world we want to live in, they're saying it's Joe Biden's fault that we can't live in that world. I'd have a lot more respect for Fox News if they took responsibility for Donald Trump, but if they started casting a vision of the world we want to live in.
Absolutely. I think that, and that again, that the right says that, or the right wing says that, again, that we, the mainstream media. Well, no, the mainstream media also includes Fox News and my pet peeve, which is the radio syndicators who put on Rush Limbaugh and others to create this right-wing conservative talk show frenzy that's on the AM band. That it just, they did it for money. This is all about money. When they went ahead and tried to do a more of a progressive talk, they pulled the plug after a couple of years because it did not sell as much as hate, as much as the enemy, as much as getting on there and saying, well, it's the Democrats' fault. Those darn Republicans, no, those darn Democrats, blaming all the everything on those liberals.
Yeah.
See, they need an enemy to be able to make money. So so that's what happened. And so again, perpetuated by Rush Limbaugh, and also, now, we have Sean Hannity and others who, again, these individuals are mostly men, but they're in their cars, their trucks, and they're listening to this stuff all day long.
Yeah.
So, but it's all done for money, though. It wasn't done because they agree with what's on there, but they did it for the ad dollars.
Yeah.
So,
I joke that Rev Z would never see this show, wouldn't be watching the show, but sure enough, there he is watching the show. Do you see Dr. Trump on Dr. Phil? I did not. Former President Trump has claimed President Biden is being controlled by very evil forces with a sick ideology. Oh, I just heard I heard Trump's voice in the back of my head. Seems like, so again, back to principle. I have this vision of Trump dying in prison, and his final words are, "It was Joe Biden's fault." Like he and his team and the MAGA universe, if you will, use the law, but ineffectively. And again, they're using the law of creativity to tear down rather than create. Right. And that gets me immediately. It's like, if Donald Trump is doing a great job of using his rhetoric, of speaking to his base every night. He's out there somewhere campaigning. He's on some stage telling some people, putting the fear of the government into more and more people. Now, will he reap the benefits, quote, or the consequences of that? Absolutely. Alex Jones. Let's talk about Alex Jones for a minute. Alex Jones was ordered to begin liquidating his assets this week.
Yes.
I don't know if that means he has to sell InfoWars or not. And man, wouldn't I love to see some certain groups buy InfoWars and turn it around and make it into, something better and less. But he is directly being held responsible $1.5 billion in restitution to the families of Sandy Hook for exactly this type of behavior. Repeating the same story over and over and over and over and over again until he believed it. And then it spread where everybody else believes it.
Yes. From what I read this morning, he is ordered, or he was ordered to liquidate InfoWars. And it would be interesting to see who would buy it.
Maybe that guy.
Maybe some of Alex Jones's followers will do it.
No, let's get the GameStop guys to buy it. Mean Kitty or whatever his name is, Revenge Kitty, like a grassroots effort to buy InfoWars and turn it into a positive media outlet. All right, we have a new mission, Michael. Let's start raising some money. We got a new mission. We want to buy InfoWars. We need to get John Oliver on this. He's got the kind of money to do this.
Okay.
John Oliver.
Now hold it. Now, do you mean that we would start talking about facts on InfoWars?
Wouldn't that be fun?
Couldn't you see individuals' brains just starting to explode?
We could be the truth hidden inside a conspiracy theory. And then the ultimate conspiracy theory is that we don't believe anything we're putting out. That there's a hidden message behind everything we do. Where there is. You are loved. You are loved. You're amazing. Right. Life is good. Let's get off the, let's.
Well, one of the nice things about our network is that we have the good news every week.
Steve Bannon's going to prison next week. There's some good news for you.
Oh,
Steve Bannon has to report.
I didn't see. No, hold it. I did not see that on goodnewsnetwork.org this week.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was on their channel. Steve Bannon has to report July 1st for prison. I forget which conviction it was, right? So we're already starting to see the people that are paying the price for their spread for the spreading of detrimental, destructive belief systems, let's say.
Yes. No, there is a price to pay. If talking about universal law, yes. You use it for less than. If you use it for your own personal gain and are lying and cheating and doing all that stuff, it'll come back on you. You may not see it, but it comes back to individuals when they do that. And again, it's just so.
Believe me,
I mean, I don't wish ill on anyone, even former President 45. I just think that again, it's
you can
just.
say his name, Michael.
Oh, you mean Donald Trump?
He won't just magically appear. He's not. Yeah, you can say.
Okay, Donald Trump. So again, it's the division that it's caused in our country, the degradation of the GOP, the Grand Old Party. Right. They used to have integrity. For example, when
now they have Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Well, no, I mean, take a look at Nixon. Here, a group of Republicans went to the White House and said, "Mr. President, your time is up here. You need to go." that doesn't happen these days. It's just again that integrity and decorum has gone out the door.
Our most recent example is a petty, childish tyrant that when we said, "Mr. President, it's time to go," he incited an insurrection and spent months doing it. I saw something recently. It basically, so let's go back to Nixon, right?
Okay.
That election was rigged.
What?
That's what Watergate was all about. They're trying to find proof that that the election was rigged, right? Because, and so anyway, my point is, there's been rumor or speculation. Al Gore, that election was rigged, right? There's rumor or speculation that pretty much every major presidential election has had some impropriety to it. If you want to look closely enough, there is a conspiracy theory for every election that it was stolen, that it was rigged, that it was influenced, that somebody did something wrong, well, in this case, we have the most polarizing president of my life. I mean, nobody has driven a wedge in the collective consciousness of America like Donald J. Trump. Like, I was alive when Jimmy Carter was in president, and nobody liked Jimmy. Like, it was, kind of that was the joke. Nobody likes Jimmy Carter. I love Jimmy Carter. He's still kicking, by the way. And he probably hammering nails into some board for Habitat for Humanity today, if only in his own mind. But like every president has had some speculation. It's just, again, we have the most divisively polarizing person in culture at this point. I mean, is there anybody that drives a deeper wedge between two groups of people right now? Netanyahu, and Donald Trump, and Putin and Donald Trump. So we can't let it happen.
It amazes me, Robert, that especially the Christian evangelical community has almost sainted Donald Trump. Here, a gentleman, he's committed adultery with all three of his wives. Here, he has been known to say extremely sexist remarks on shows, It's interesting to me that, and so their counter complaint is that, or their counter argument is that, well, he's better for the country. We did not elect him to be our pastor. What happened to integrity? What happened to using moral principles based on Judeo-Christian ethic? What it's gone out the door. Again, the worship is not of God. The worship is of this nationalism that is really, it's destroying our country, and also talking about over in India with Prime Minister Modi getting elected again, that the whole idea of Hindu nationalism, any type of nationalism that is equated to a religion, has, again, the worship is power. The worship is not God. So,
yes, I'll tell you, I hadn't heard. I owe you one. Rev Z, I owe you one, because I had not heard about this Trump Dr. Phil interview. And I had kind of lost any real respect for Dr. Phil over the years, different things and different, but this one to me just goes too far. And I haven't even watched it, but I've been doing a little bit of searching, and some of the headlines that people have pulled out to describe this interview just feel like, well, Dr. Phil's gone rogue. And one of these says he even thinks that he made some headway in convincing Donald not to go on a revenge tour. Sorry,
that
there's no way Trump knows how to do anything other than revenge. He's already started it. He's going to continue it. And everybody's screaming. Here's one of the things I want to talk about. Everybody's screaming that that Biden and the Democrats have weaponized the justice system.
That's not true.
But what I think is scarier, and even if that were true, let's for a moment play with the idea that one high-level politician had some friends of his do something to set up some other high-level politician and make them look bad and take them out of the race. Let's just suppose that's possible. What Trump and his people do is they make it, they endanger the general public. They take the justice system and weaponize it by going after the jurors and going after the judge and going after the lawyers and doxing people's addresses. And who in their right mind would want to sit on a jury knowing that there's hundreds of, let's just say hundreds, that there's hundreds of people in MAGA hats that are going to show up at their door with guns and knives and pitchforks and tiki torches?
Those jurors, the judge, everyone in that courtroom prosecuting Donald Trump, they are brave Americans.
Yes.
And that they targets. And yes, and now they become targets. So we have some guest commentary. Hold on here, all the way from Akron, Ohio. The illustrious leader of the Summit Center for Spiritual Living, practitioner Diana Mangus, says, "Hi, Trump is a scary joke. He needs to be in prison for all of his discretions." Well, again,
he corrects that to indiscretions.
Indiscretions. Okay, yes, indiscretions. It's, again, I could care less about this guy's, cheating on his wife. I mean, yeah, okay, but it's the whole idea that he did a criminal act of hiding it, and that's what he got convicted on. And have you ever served on a jury?
I have not.
Okay, so I have a couple of times, and it's individuals who serve on juries, at least the ones that I served on. One was attempted murder, and the other one was a civil suit with it was a school bus accident.
Okay.
You are to take, again, you're given explicit instructions by the judge to go in there and to only look at what was presented to you during the trial. Not media, not anything else, but what was presented to you during the trial. And I think that again, the comments by Donald Trump saying, looking at the jurors and saying, well, I think I have a favorable one. I guess there was one who said that he got his news from Truth Social. That when you go into the deliberation, the only thing that you are taking in there again is the facts that were presented to you, and you make your decision based upon those. And I think that that's what they did. That's what this jury did, is they went in there and they said, this is what was presented to us. It was shown to us over and over again, collaborated by other witnesses, so, the glove fit, you had to convict.
Right.
So that's what happened here. So
if the rubber fits,
not Robert.
Sorry,
Robert. Now you see, if I said that on my show on the Friday evening fireside chat, I'd be hearing about that on the Monday morning meeting.
Exactly. We have a Monday morning meeting. Yes, exactly. You would be.
That's where Robert and I meet weekly. So
this is
so
the one.
So then he chews me out about all the stuff that happened over the weekend.
This is the one show. This is the one show where we're allowed to be a little irreverent.
Okay, good.
So,
Linda said something too. She says, I got rid of all my books by Dr. Phil, my own little personal action. Good for you, Linda. Now, did you burn them or did you sell them?
I was going to say, I'm not much for burning books, but in this case, maybe we make an exception. Honestly, that's not such a bad idea. A collective burning of Dr. Phil's books, to be to say in some way say, look, I don't know if that's a civil discourse, but ultimately, I'm going to come back to something I was saying just a little bit ago. Donald J. Trump has been the most divisively polarizing figure in American history that I know in my lifetime. Perhaps in earlier years, others, but I can't even imagine Benedict Arnold was quite as divisive in his day as we are now, as this country is now. I have never seen us so divided. And it comes right down to those red hats that say MAGA. And it comes right down to the quote MAGA universe creating its own media streams and locking itself in its own media bubble. I watch a bit of YouTube and I saw one of these. There's a lot of people right now doing man in the street interviews of Trump supporters at Trump rallies.
Yes.
This was a recent one. And the guy was asking the question, well, what if he doesn't win? And okay, I'm sure he cherry picked which responses he used in his program to sell advertising dollars, right? I'm not going to pretend that this guy didn't bias his own story, but overall, they were all alluding to armed insurrection, to war, to civil war. That's scary. That's really scary that we have a figure that is so polarizing that can say anything. He could walk out there and say the sky is green and the grass is blue, and there would immediately be an entire ecosystem and chain of proof as to why he's right, and the rest of us are all been lying to them all these years. And that is scary. And I don't get scared by much. But when they start talking, when they start dropping allusions to civil war and, well, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm here. And what is it? So they've now adopted the upside down flag as a rally call. There's one, what's it called? It's One Command.
Yes.
Right? I might be wrong, but my understanding is One Command means that you have a bullet in the chamber, that it is locked, loaded, and you are ready to fire, that your finger's on the friggin' trigger and you're ready to fire your weapon. And it's showing up on t-shirts, sweatshirts, bumper stickers, coffee mugs, this One Command concept.
Yeah,
That scares me.
Linda says, I have a part of me that can't burn books because I believe in freedom of speech. I got them out of my library and I did not make money on them. Well, again, we can all do our part. One of the things I do for me is I have individuals, friends who are MAGA supporters. I don't understand them at all. And that I pick my spots to give them at least something to think about. I may not convince them, but at least they have another something else to put into their brain that hopefully that will mature into something else, hopefully down the road. I don't.
I hear there's this place that's really good at changing people's minds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Facebook.
No.
You just put the truth on Facebook and people will change their minds.
Nah.
Right away. Yeah, no.
Folks, so the other thing too, and we talked about this on my show on the Friday Evening Fireside Chat, 8 Eastern here on the New Thought Media Network on Friday evenings. We talked about the whole idea of individuals saying, well, you shouldn't have anybody who believes this way in your life, who are right-wing MAGA individuals. And I disagree. I think that, again, that yes, you hate the sin and love the sinner. So I don't put these individuals completely out of my life. I may not read all of their posts on Facebook, but I still need to love them. And so
otherwise we're just perpetuating what he wants. If we follow that advice and cast out from our lives anyone that doesn't believe exactly like we do, well, that's exactly what he's trying to do.
Right.
And that just and that's not the way of the future. A world that works for all requires that we have conversations with all. It doesn't mean a Hindu state. It doesn't mean that Modi and his guys get to knock down every Muslim building. You know, they
You froze on me, Robert. Hello, Robert. Calling Colorado. Hopefully we'll get Robert back here in just a second. See, this is what happens when it's live, folks. Well, you're watching Ministers Talking Shit here on the New Thought Media Network. I am Reverend Michael. I'm one of the staff ministers, and hopefully we will get Robert back here. If not, then I'll be closing out the show. Oh, isn't that interesting? Now, let me get him back here. All right. Well, again, Linda said something here, which I thought was pretty good. She says, I do my little bit in local politics. I maintain positive relationships with people and friends who do and don't believe as I do. And I think that love also is important for all of us to realize, especially when we have individuals in our communities that are right wing. So he's trying to get back in here. We'll wait till he gets back in. But again, that whole idea of love your enemies that was taught by the master teacher Jesus, you know, how can we love these people? How can we not isolate them? And again, I've had conversations with individuals in New Thought about, well, you shouldn't have anything to do with this certain individual. And I disagree. We need to love. We need to practice our spiritual principles here. I think I'm receiving a note on the hotline here. It says, go ahead and wrap up and end the show. I think we can do that. Well, again, thank you all for watching us this week here on the New Thought Media Network on Ministers Talking Shit. We really appreciate all of you here. One more comment from Linda. She says, I live in a town that is home to a far-right Christian college. Absolutely. How can we love those folks? How can we go ahead and to counter the false narrative that they've put out about the teachings of Jesus? Wonderful. All right, here she is. She has the last word, agreed, even though I do like Trump. I think it's you don't like Trump, but I still try to show love even to the Trumpsters because that's the only way to share love. Yes, Diana, I also agree. And she says, I do not like Trump, that should say. Well, and again, I've known some individuals who have expressed their MAGA viewpoints and that have been isolated or cast out of New Thought churches. So again, the whole idea is to love everyone. Well, listen, time for me to get on out of here. Again, I've been given orders from headquarters to go ahead and wrap everything up. This is Ministers Talking Shit here on the New Thought Media Network. And we're going to say goodbye for right now. And again, check out all of our programs on ntmedia.org. On behalf of all of us here at the New Thought Media Network and also Ministers Talking Stuff, I am Reverend Michael Mangus, and I'm going to wish you a very pleasant, wonderful day. And we will talk to you sometime today, later on, here on Positively Inspiring New Thought Media Network. Have a great day. Thank you.